Well, here's a different view for you all. You can actually see that there's a new Apple logo sitting on my desk. This is the more elegant view of it, but it's there. So I'm going to spin around now and talk to you about the specs of this machine. Okay, here we go. It's a 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo processor. See, this video camera isn't even pointed at my hand, so I'm already doing crazy hand motions. But anyway, like I was saying, 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo, 2 gigabyte of DDR3 RAM, so that's two 1 gigabyte cards, obviously. Again, it only has two slots for, that's two slots for, RAM. So I think you can configure this one up to 4 gigabytes. A 250 gigabyte, SATA drive that spins at 5,400 revolutions per minute. So that's fast, but not as fast as my iMac, which spins at a 7,200 RPM. There's got an 8x super drive and a backlit keyboard. So I'm going to now just turn on the backlit keyboard for you. Show you what that looks like. I mean, it's actually a bit light here, so you can't really tell so much. But it's nice. Here, see the light coming out from under the keys? Or maybe not. Oh well. The light's a bit off, but it's definitely a nice thing to have. Oh, see, now it just turned off because I picked up the light coming from outside. Anyway, so the backlit keyboard is a nice thing to have. Now, as you can obviously tell, I did not go with the baseline configuration, which was a 2 gigahertz processor and blah blah blah, and obviously didn't have a backlit keyboard. And the reason is, well, there are a bunch of reasons. The main reason, though, is because I wanted this computer to last me 4 years, at least. At least 4 years I wanted to have this MacBook for, which means that in 4 years from now, a 2 gigahertz processor and a 160 gigabyte hard drive and no backlit keyboard would be much less up to date than this model. Sure, am I going to really notice the difference between 2.0 and 2.4 gigahertz processor on a day-to-day basis? No, probably not. Am I going to use a backlit keyboard on a day-to-day basis? No, probably not, although I do use it. I do use it. It's definitely a nice thing to have, especially for planes and long car rides and when the lights turn off in my room and I'm too lazy to turn it on. Anyway, am I going to use the 250 gigabyte hard drive? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that I'm definitely going to use because I've almost filled up my 160 gigabyte hard drive on my iMac there. So for sure, I'm going to use the 250 gigabyte hard drive in the 4 years I'm going to have this. But still, I could have just upgraded the 250 gigabyte hard drive from the main machine. Well, the first reason I didn't do that is because you wouldn't be able to buy that from the actual Apple Store. You'd have to order it online, and I like the experience of going to the Apple Store. But that's still a bit of a lame excuse. The real reason is, like I said before, in 4 years from now, 2 gigahertz processor, right, no backlit keyboard, and 160 hard drive, 160 gigabyte hard drive would be so out of date, even compared to 2.4 gigahertz, you know, this model, right? I'm going to call them baseline and my model, just so we don't get confused. Well, and I don't have to repeat all the specs every time I want to, you know, say one or the other. So like I was saying, in 4 years from now, this machine right here would be much more up to date than the 2 gigahertz and 160 watt hard drive and the baseline model. And so no, I'm not going to necessarily use all these features on a day-to-day basis, but in 4 years from now, it'll still be it'll be more in the game than the baseline model. And that's what I was really thinking. If this computer is going to be lasting me a while now, I want it to remain a nice, powerful machine even in 4 years from now. And getting the baseline model now just wouldn't give you that, because eventually they're going to shift it down, and this one will become a baseline model, and whatever it is. But I hope you see my point there. As to the actual review, I couldn't be happier. The MacBook itself is a beautiful, beautiful machine. I mean, all those specs I was telling you about. Oh, and there's also the NVIDIA graphics card, 9400 GeForce graphics card, which will allow you to play games such as Need for Speed Carbon, which I did a live unboxing for and set up. All of that is packed into a beautiful, beautiful machine. I mean, you can see the sleekness of it, and I guarantee you that, yeah, you're not gonna buy a computer because this one has a unibody enclosure or whatever, but just holding it, you can feel it. Just looking at it, you can see the precision in which it was created. It's really, really, really amazing. It's astounding. It's just holding it, touching it, you see how it's all one piece. It's like the corners, everything. You really gotta hold it to see 100% what I mean. But when you do, you'll just get a feel that's incredible. And of course, what I find is so amazing is that the display is so incredibly thin. I don't know where they have all the, obviously the guts to the machine are there, but what about the display itself? Anyway, and then of course the beautiful Apple logo. So my point is that all this power, all this incredible feature list is packed into such a beautiful, thin, sleek, lightweight machine. And the main thing is the sleekness and the looks of it. And I think that really is what is so amazing here. That really is what totally blows it away from the competition. Okay, now, on lack of FireWire, I've got 2 FireWire 400 ports on the back of my iMac. You know how many times I've used them? Not above 0. 0 times. I've never touched them. Now, that could be because I don't have a FireWire camera. I'm not saying that you should, if you need FireWire, oh, you should buy it anyway because it's not really going to affect you. Oh, it'll affect you. I'm just saying personally, it doesn't bother me. But, it may bother you, in which case that's definitely a consideration. You may want to go with the Pro or, unfortunately, not a MacBook. But I'm just saying, me, personally, it doesn't bother me. Next thing, the LED backlit screen and the glossiness I honestly don't mind. The only thing that does bother, well, no, it doesn't really even bother me. It's just that the only time it could bother a person is when you're looking at a dark part of the screen. So, like, when it shifts, like when the screen dims down and turns all black to go into, like, a movie. You can, like, see your face and everything behind you. I mean, it's only bad where it's dark. Like, even on the bottom of the screen there, you could see my iMac right there. That's actually the side of my iMac. And again, that's only because it's really dark in that area. But actually looking at the screen, once you actually start looking at it, you can see the ticks clocks and the flip video that I'm recording this with. But again, only in the darker area of the screen on the bottom. And even so, once you're using it, you really don't notice. I mean, the glossy screen really doesn't bother me at all once you're actually using it. Now, of course, if you stare into the screen and try to look for the reflection of it, then you'll see it. And by the way the camera's picking it up is making it much worse than it really is. Because I'm looking through the camera and then looking at the screen, and the reflection is not nearly that bad. It's like a teeny little area there, actually. Like, teeny. You could hardly even see it. It's so faded. Unless you literally stare at it, wanting it to, come into focus. It's not going to bother you.